What's going on YouTube? It's your boy Duran, and we're here to talk more Celtics basketball. And is there something in the air, guys? Is there something in the air? It smells good. It smells like home cooking. And what that smells like is 4 wins in a row. It feels good to be winning all these games in a row and to get back to our usual selves. And we have to first start by giving credit to Brad Stevens, as the Boston Celtics beat the Toronto Raptors 132 to 125. But man, Brad Stevens has sort of figured this team out. The offense is looking elite. Let's go ahead and give it to that. The offense is at the past 4 games, in the past week, really, this offense has looked elite. They have figured the offense out. And I don't know if it's a fluke or not because it's past a couple weeks, but man, they have figured this offense out. Everyone's shooting at a clip. I think we had 8 players in this game in double figures. That is insane. That's amazing. And we just have to congratulate Brad Stevens because he knows he's pressing all the right buttons for this team, pulling all the right triggers. He's rotating very well. The rotations are really good. And this team is playing really, really well right now. But let's go ahead and talk about this game and this game only. Jason Tatum's turned up. Jason Tatum, 27 points, 12 rebounds, going into his all-star game with the starters. He looked really good in this game. Other than that, 9 of 15, very efficient, 2 steals. JT had a really good game. He led the way. Jaylen Brown had a quiet game, 4 of 11, but he was 11 of 16 from the free throw line. I wouldn't say it was a quiet 21 points, but really, when we're spreading the ball out like this, around like this, and there was like 8 contributors, someone's shot attempts are going to come down. JT only had 15 shot attempts. When do you usually see that? And he had 27 points off 15 shot attempts. That's insane. Jaylen had 21 points off 11 shot attempts. So a solid game from the Jays, not too much. Kemba Walker had a really good game too. Another solid game. He didn't have to do too much because we had a lot of contributors in this game. Jeff Teague played well. Peyton Pritchard played well. Rob Williams played well. Grant Williams played well. So we had a lot of really good players playing in this game. And let's go ahead and talk about some of the things in the offense that I saw that I liked. We're moving the ball very well. This team is moving really well. And I have to point that towards Rob Williams a little bit, because when we're moving the ball, when Rob Williams is on the court, by the way, the Boston Celtics ball movement, it has been great. And what Rob Williams is doing to defenses is amazing. I have no words. When he is literally just jogging towards the rim, the whole defense collapsed and it leaves shooters open. And in this game, Grant Williams decided to make and bury his open threes, his stationary targets, with Nesmith completely being taken out of the rotation. And just giving more opportunities to Grant Williams and Jeff Teague. One, they have taken advantage of their opportunities. Let's talk more about this bench. They've taken advantage of their opportunities. Grant Williams and Jeff Teague got a second opportunity. They're taking much more advantage. I think we had a lot of I don't know the exact numbers on the second chance points, but we had a lot of really good second chance points from Teague, from not Rob Williams, but from Grant Williams, from a lot of guys. Everyone really contributing on this team. The energy built up going into the All-Star break. We had a lot of really good plays in this game. Honestly, we saw 61% from the field goal percentage, 45% from the 3-point percentage. This is a really good game. Peyton Pritchard looked really good in my opinion. A little bit more off ball, 2 steals. He had pretty decent defense, honestly. I'm not gonna call it really good, but decent defense today. Grant Williams, 17 points, 4 rebounds. Let's give Grant some love, because I've called Grant trash all year. He's got the second opportunity now with these minutes. Nesmith is now back on the bench, and Grant has made the most of it. He's got second chance points. He's played good defense. He's rotating well. I gotta give Grant Williams his props. He's playing really, really well as of late. Jeff Teague also making the best of his second chance opportunity. 14 points, a rebound, 4 assists. He is playing really good basketball right now. He had a really bad month in February, but now he's turning a new page, a new chapter, and he's playing really well. He's playing really, really well. I would say February is probably the worst basketball for him in his entire career. That was the worst basketball I've seen outputted by Jeff Teague. He might as well have been out the league in what February was showing. But man, that how he's come back, how he's playing, he gives us a chance. How this bench is playing, they give us a chance. Because 132 outputted points, it's really well. The offense, it's firing on all cylinders right now. The offense I'm not worried about. It's when this defense comes around. We have got to figure out this defense. And I think when you take it to that, you have to look at maybe when Marcus Smart comes back, because Marcus Smart is our defensive anchor. I know a lot of people try to say the bigs are your defensive anchor. Usually when people are talking about a defensive anchor, they're talking about a big, but our defensive anchor is Marcus Smart, who can guard literally 1 through 5. So we need Marcus Smart back so we can at least try and figure out this defense, because it's not good. I think the Raptors were missing so many players. I expected us to win this game, but man, it got really tight. Norm Powell was giving us drugs. Chris Boucher gave us drugs. Terrence Davis gave us drugs. I mean, these guys really, Chris Boucher had 30 points. Jeez. Powell had 25 points. Like, we had to output a lot of offense to put these guys away. You know, Toronto has heart, but at some point our defense has to catch up. I knew we were okay. I was like, at some point they have to put together some stops to close this game out. And they did. They did in the third quarter. They put a bunch of stops together. They outscored the Toronto 35-22. I don't know how many turnovers they had in that quarter, but I feel like they were forcing a lot of turnovers for Toronto and that. And I just don't have the numbers, but when you watched it, I felt like they forced a lot on Toronto. Toronto just went cold in the third quarter, and that kind of ended it. But the defense has to get it together. First quarter for the Raptors, 34 points. Second quarter for the Raptors, 36 points. Fourth quarter for the Raptors, 33 points. And they made the game unnecessarily tight at the end. You know, this landing, how we're finishing has to be a bit better. It's going to catch up with them. It's going to catch up with the Celtics if they don't figure it out. Honestly, if they don't figure out the defense, if they don't figure out how to close better, it's going to catch up with them. And you're going to let teams hang around 4 points, 5 points at the end of the games that should have already been decided. It's gonna catch you. It already did catch them, honestly, in that New Orleans Pelicans game. But in this game, you know, they showed a little bit of guts. When it got to fourth quarter, when it was in the fourth quarter, I think Toronto had just cut it to 3 points. I forgot the score. And Brad Stevens had called a timeout. In my head, I'm like, I don't care about, you know, the outcome of the game. You know, I honestly, you know, you want to win, but I don't care about the outcome of the game. Brad Stevens, show me that you have control of this team. Show me that you have a pulse on your team. Show me that your team has some heart and can come out here and play, because they had went cold. I forgot what Toronto had went on a crazy run, but they got back in this game. They shouldn't have never been in the game. And Boston comes out and kind of, you know, puts her foot down and slams the door. And that's where you got to give credit to Brad Stevens. That's where you got to give credit to Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. They kind of showed up big at the end of the game, and they were closing this one out. But obviously, I just also want to ask you guys one thing before we close this video out. You know, this is a good win, 4 wins, you know, going into the All-Star break, you know, 4th in the East, you know, everyone spit on our grave. But let me just ask you guys this. When we're talking about tradable players, would you give up Rob Williams? Would you give up Rob Williams? Honestly, would you give up Rob Williams or Peyton Pritchard? I'm gonna give it 2 plays. Would you give up Rob Williams or Peyton Pritchard? In my opinion, I'm not leaning towards giving up Rob Williams just yet. I'm not. I don't think you have to. I know a lot of people want Rob Williams, but I don't think you will have to give up Rob Williams. That's just my opinion. If it comes down to it, I will consider it, but I don't think you have to give up Rob Williams. But just tell me in the comments, would you guys give up Rob Williams if it meant what player you could get, like a Vucevic, or it meant you could get a player like a Harrison Barnes? Just tell me, would you give up a Rob Williams? Well, as always, guys, I have nothing left for the video. Like, comment, and subscribe. Peace.